Welcome back to It Resolves, where we play a new deck every single day. Today's deck is Mono Black Discard. Welcome back, everybody, to another standard gameplay video. I hope you guys are doing exceptionally well today. I hope you guys are enjoying the new set. I am having an absolute blast with it. Obviously, John is as well, because he has been putting out a ton of videos. Highly encourage you guys to go watch those. He's also been live streaming, so please do check him out on live stream. Today, we are actually going to be looking at a different version of Mono Black because he actually played sort of just a basic mid-range version, which did very well. But I wanted to take a look at a discard-focused version of the list, just kind of see what we can come up with here. This is entirely my own, just thrown together kind of list. And so I highly anticipate we probably have a long way to go before we get to an actual final list. That being said, though, I do think there's quite a number of things that we get to utilize here with the new set that really makes discard a lot better. Truthfully, there are three main cards that come to mind. First and foremost, the Raven Man. Every time an opponent discards a card at the beginning of the next end step, if they did that turn, you get a 1/1 creature out of the deal. You can also pay for tap it. The opponent discards a card at sorcery speed. The important thing here is that we basically start to flood the board with these little 1/1 flyers, which can't block, and that's not great, but they do get to ping away for a little bit of damage here and there, and then eventually we can just Meathook Massacre for the win. That is one outlet that we can get to. Generally speaking, you've got like 3 or 4 activations in this kind of thing before the opponent just has no cards in hand. But it is kind of an interesting little play pattern that we get out of that. Liliana of the Veil, another really good way to activate the Raven Man just by plussing up. Everybody discards a card. We get a 1/1 out of the deal, and they're down on resources. That's generally a good play pattern for us. And then finally, the Cruelty of Gix. A card that I haven't actually gotten to test out yet, but I'm really excited to try. So target opponent reveals their hand, you choose a creature or planeswalker card from it, they discard that card. So it does play into the discard theme. At 2, search your library for a card, put that into your hand, then shuffle, you lose 3 life. Or at 3, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And so this acts as like kind of a little bit of everything that we want to do. It discards, it searches, and it reanimates. Now, even on our end, we've got some really good targets. Junji is up there, Graveyard Trespasser is up there. But truthfully, this is just a really fun way to steal stuff from the opponent too. So we'll see what we end up doing there. I, of course, do have Invoke Despair in the deck as a 3 of, because I do feel like the full 4 was a bit much. Junji is in here because we can discard with it or bring something back like a Graveyard Trespasser or a Raven Man. Crucially, Graveyard Trespasser is in here because we can utilize the cards that have been discarded for a little bit of life gain or whatever we need to do. Really good option here. It also just exiles stuff, which is great. A lot of the early turns are spent early discard. We've got Dread Fugue, we've got Duress, we've got Pilfer, one of the new cards, which basically is just a 2-mana discard something other than a non-land, which is kind of awesome. Or excuse me, other than a land. We've got Infernal Grasp and Cut Down here for a little bit of just spot removal to kind of handle the board until we can get that Meathook Massacre off if we need to. And then Concealing Curtains is a nice way of stalling up the board a little bit against the aggro decks, and then of course later on flipping it and dealing a lot of, or getting some damage in, but then also discarding. We do have Field of Ruin, and then of course the Abandoned Mire in here, but that's about it. The lands are pretty basic in this deck. We do run 25 because we anticipate discarding a few to Lily. And so making sure we just hit our land drops is a nice way to go. So all that to say, guys, this is, again, very much a work in progress, but I think going to be a very fun deck. Let's jump in. Let's see what we can do. Let's have some fun. All right, guys, and here we are for game number 1. This is, I think, a relatively easy keep. Definitely a little over saturated on the 2-drops here, but this does give us options. I think I'd like to get the Raven Man down before we do too much else, but regardless, Raven Man into Lily is certainly going to be a reasonable play, and we'll see what we draw. We might get something else in the interim that we decide is better, but that Infernal Grasp just gives us a little bit of an out, regardless of what happens, so I do like that. Interesting to see the Wastes and the Plains. I'm curious. This could be a flash speed, like instant speed style deck, which is going to be a little tricky, but definitely very annoying. So we'll drop the Raven Man and see what happens. I anticipate the opponent plays something. No. Fair enough. Interesting. Did not expect that. Okay. That's actually fine. So there's a safe way to do this, and then there's a not as safe way to do this. They can phase this out, which I don't love. What? Why did they good game us? I'm actually gonna go this route. We're gonna try and burn some cards here, because I'd like to get the Lily down onto the field like basically as we, ooh. That's kind of interesting. I don't actually care about it though. I think I just take Slip out the back. And we'll pass. I don't know why they keep saying good game. I hate when people do that. Von Strom, please don't do that. It's very annoying for everybody involved. So basically what we're doing is making it difficult for them to react to the sacrifice ability on Lily. This is the only creature they have. So they definitely have some really powerful stuff, and that's all fine, but they don't have a whole lot going on. And so the idea is basically for us to just get this one creature off the field, and then they're kind of done. They can give it hexproof all day, but that does not solve the sacrifice problem. They did get rid of one of those. Interesting. Okay. They did discard a card, so we actually get a trigger off of that, which is kind of handy. Thank you, Raven Man. Okay, cool. I'm gonna do this and hope they don't have any kind of 1 mana counter magic kind of stuff. They can give this hexproof all they want. Again, as long as they don't have a Slip out the back, this should be fine. My hope is they don't have a Slip out the back. Please don't. That would be great. They are going to be forced to play it here if they do. Ah, March. Okay. They keep saying good game. That's so annoying. All right. We'll attack in. No reason not to. And they actually... Did they exile? Yeah, shore up. Okay. Interesting. So they're powering this thing up like crazy, which is perfectly valid, perfectly reasonable, but now I was gonna say, are you really gonna attack Lily? Let's see. I'm okay with them attacking Lily, actually, just because it saves our life total quite a bit. Here they connive, so again, we're just gonna get like a free little 1/1. And so I'm very happy to say that, but there we go. Little extra momentum for us here, which is quite nice. I do really like this. All right, so, let's see. Let's do this. Just see what they have. If they play something on the Drake, we get to Infernal Grasp it in response. And then we get to take 1 card from hand. Yeah. I'm gonna try and kill it here. I think this is our best bet. If they have another way to do it, that's fine. Okay, they're gonna phase it out. All right, fair enough. Very good. Oh, taking Delver is nice. All right, so we will plus up. I think, ooh, I actually don't know what the right call is here. I think it's just the land. I think we want the Massacre just in case kind of deal. Again, these guys can't block, which is why we are attacking in, just a heads up. And I think we don't play that yet. All right. We do get another 1/1 out of the deal. All right, so we know they have a land. We know they have the Homestead Courage. So at this point, we just needed like another removal spell. They're gonna have to attack Lily if they can't kill us this turn. Okay, never mind. Now they don't have to. Oh, I'm so happy I kept the Meathook Massacre. Yeah, that's actually going to be really helpful for us, so totally cool with that. Ooh, that's very good. I think we can just do it for 1. All right, let's cancel first. Let's make sure we attack in. We're gonna lose all of our creatures, so this is perfectly reasonable. I don't really care. Yep. All right. Yeah, I think we just do this for 1. So we kind of want to get them to a point where they only have 1 creature on the board, because then we can just Invoke Despair. So as long as we survive this turn and they don't get another creature, we might actually be okay. Oh wait, this gives it double strike, doesn't it? Yeah. Good game. Man, that was interesting. I don't think the other way around would have actually worked, because they would have just sacrificed anyway, if that makes sense. So I think, and we would have been tapped out. So I don't think we played incorrectly. Hate we couldn't get it, but let's jump into game 2. This month's Patreon rewards features some of the most impactful Lotuses in Magic's history. Check out all the details and sign up at patreon.com/itresolves. All right, guys, here we are for game number 2, and this is definitely a keep. We do have a couple of 5-drops in our hand, which is a little slow, but we do have a nice 1 into 2, and then technically 3 with the, the activation. Sorry, I just had lunch, so I'm a little burpy at the moment. We'll see what the opponent is up to as well. Pilfer is like one of my favorite new cards from the set. It's just a basic uncommon, but it's like kind of nice. I like it. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and throw the curtain out there. I do really like the curtain, especially in these early turns or these early days of the format, having rotated and all that, because you do get quite a number of aggro-y style decks. Which makes sense because, I mean, they're very good, but it's also a nice way to kind of stall out the board a little bit and that kind of stuff, so. I am just going to go for this now. I don't see a reason not to. Okay. An offer you can't refuse. Sure. That's so good. For us. That really helps us out. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Okay, that's cool. I don't particularly care. So they are completely tapped out right now. I'm gonna go this route because this provides long-term value that we can start capitalizing on, and then the Invoke Despair can get them later. So, yes, perfect. Just get Shieldred out of there. So this is just a Mire control. They're running Essence Scatter. That's a bit odd. All right, so we know they have Essence Scatter. What do we want to do about that? Is it just a discard spell? Yeah, I think it kind of is. I think we just discard it. Just gonna go ahead and get it out of the hand here, so then there's really nothing left for us to worry about. We're also gonna pull a Shieldred here. This is great. We actually just get to kill this. Yep. Just gonna jack that real quick. And let's go ahead and Invoke Despair, make them sack this. We draw 2, we gain 4. Yeah, there we go. Or they lose 4, excuse me. That was perfect. Yeah, let's do more of that. That was awesome, guys. Let's see if we can do it again. All right, guys, here we are for game number 3. And again, this is a pretty reasonable keep. We've got a 1 into 2 into 3. If they answer the curtain, it's okay. We've got a backup plan with another Pilfer. This just seems like a perfectly reasonable curve out scenario. So one thing this deck does seem to do relatively well is like curve out okay. It's not necessarily perfect, but we've got a lot of early drops that help curve you out into more stuff, and particularly with things like Concealing Curtains, like you've automatically got something to do on turn 3, assuming this doesn't die. And so it's just kind of an easy in to make sure that we can keep moving forward and progressing our game plan without having to worry too much about mana cost, etc. So we'll see what happens here. I am just gonna Pilfer right off the bat. We can Dread Fugue another time, but I'd rather make sure that we can just kind of hit whatever we need to hit, and Pilfer allows for that, so easy enough. Okay, sure. The nice thing is they still had to burn a counter spell on it, and it was a 2 for 2, so like mana equivalent is perfect. So I really don't care that much. There's a Celestis, very nice. All right. Ooh, so sick. Okay, I love that. I'm going to go ahead and flip this while we can. Seems easy enough. We get a card out of hand here. It's definitely the Wandering Emperor. And we'll go ahead and do this. Cool. Easy enough. Hopefully they don't draw too much action. They're discarding the other Luxior, which makes sense. What a sick card, by the way. This is a really cool card. Interesting. Okay. We'll play land first. So, the question becomes, do we like Dread Fugue for 1 just so we can follow it up with another play? I think maybe so. We're gonna try and burn a spell here first. Not sure that this is actually even gonna hit anything. It may not, but we'll see. I'd like to get a look at their hand and then be able to make a reaction after that. Given that they have Wandering Emperor, I think doing this prior to, both really good cards, wow. Doing this like early prior to them being able to really do too much is, I think, better. So now I'm curious to see if they just flash out the Wandering Emperor. They did not, so I'm taking it. We're gonna attack for 3. Now that we know they can't necessarily do too much about it, we've dealt with 2 Emperors so far. We do have Graveyard Trespasser as well, so we can start to exile their graveyard a little bit. They're also down on cards, so they don't necessarily have a lot of like reasonable plays at this point. Perfect. That's actually fine. Liliana of the Veil gives us a way to deal with Graveyard Trespasser very easily. Truthfully, if we just draw a land, we can Meathook Massacre and still kind of be fine. But we'll see what happens. I'm assuming they're gonna minus, yeah, okay. That does kind of solve their problem, but truthfully, not really. All right, we're gonna attack first. I anticipate them not blocking, but if they do, we just won't Meathook yet. They have to double block if they want to do this. Yep, cool. That's great. Let's play our own Graveyard Trespasser. We're gonna exile their Graveyard Trespasser. And we'll pass. They're not really in a position to deal with this because they don't have multiple cards. They can get multiple cards, but one of them has to be a removal spell, and they can't then play the other. And so we are going to be in a position where it's tricky for them to do a whole lot, which is great. I really love Graveyard Trespasser. I do think Trespasser's probably one of the best 3-drops in Standard right now. It's like kind of insane how good he is, just in general. So, sure, they draw a discard. Makes sense. Oh, that's quite good. Okay, well, first things first, we are going to attack. I think I'll just exile the 2 Wandering Emperors just to make sure they can't really do too much about it. Sure. This is honestly okay. So they do this, we Meathook for 2. Or... What is the better option here? I think it's this, because... Yeah, it's definitely this. So at this point now, this sweeps these 2 things off the board. Most likely they're gonna maybe plus up here, or try and tack it on, which just means next turn we Invoke Despair and they lose it anyway. Yeah. Seems pretty reasonable. We also are getting close to a position where Lily might be able to come into play and just start to like really tack on a lot. If we can ultimate Lily, like, that's a pretty good place to be. Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. So they are gonna do this, that's fine. They've only got 1 land. I'm not anticipating they have a ton to do. That was nice. I actually wanted a land quite badly, so let's do this. Get that off the field. Draw some stuff. 2 Raven Mans. Kind of bad to get 2 of those, obviously. But, you know, that's fine. They do have all the options in the world for like looting through their deck, and so I'm not anticipating we'll have a great time at dealing with all of these cards that they've got, but we'll do the best we can. Nice. I do really like that. All right, so we're gonna Raven Man. We're gonna drop Lily. I think I just plus up to force the discard there. Yeah, that was a good discard too. So now what this does is if they loot, they actually don't have, I mean, the card just gets discarded, so they don't really get anywhere with it. We're also now up to where Lily is at 4 loyalty, so even if they attack him with both after plussing the Kaito, we still are kind of okay. I'm not saying we're in great positions, don't get me wrong, but oh, especially now, that's not good. I think we just decline, right? Because this has, yeah, it's summoning sickness, so I don't particularly care about that. All right, so they're gonna get in for 1. That's fine. Nice. Yeah, definitely just straight up killing this. Not a big deal. This is just like a we have to kill it kind of deal as quickly as we can. So then they don't really have much to go off of. So basically we could offer them the choice, if we wanted, of keeping Kaito or... Yeah, I'm actually gonna do that. I'm not sure this is a good idea. Normally I would just plus up Lily here. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so then we actually just pass, so we can just block the Kaito and keep Lily around, I think. Man, what an interesting game this has turned out to be. Wow, okay. Jaren, huh? Haven't seen this in a long time. Okay. So sick. If they can get to exactly 13 life, that's gonna be really annoying. Okay. I'm actually gonna do this for deck thinning. Kind of a silly thing, I get it, but we really don't have much else we can do. Man lands are also not a thing, so not as worried about that. I just kind of want to get further into the deck without the possibility of drawing another land. Watch us draw another land anyway, but still. No, it's not a land. Okay, wow, and this actually deals with it quite well. Okay, that's fine. Plus up. And we definitely just, these can't block, so again, we just attack in and that's it. All right, well, here's to hoping. What an interesting game. I also don't know why they're not plussing up Kaito. I guess because they don't want to just discard the card. I actually don't care. As long as it's not killing Lily, I'm not gonna stress about it. I'd rather keep the Raven Man on the field, I believe. Because it does kind of force them into wanting to just play as much as they can. Sure. Okay. This turned into a very long game also, which is fine, but... Alright. Not good. We definitely just need like a big power play and we are not getting it. Okay. I mean... Yeah, we are definitely not in great shape here. Get the attack in, but that's not really that good. Ugh. So sad, so sad. We're just petering out. Like if we'd drawn, say, an Invoke Despair, or even just another Meathook to sweep the board, like we would have been in much better positions, but like, the reality is we've drawn a lot of not that great stuff, and maybe that's down to one of the things that I think mono black discard in general is always going to suffer from is potentially bad draws in the late game, because at that point the opponent probably doesn't have that much in hand, which is perfectly fine. That's just the reality of what happens. But it is kind of unfortunate that we've been drawing not so great. Like an Invoke Despair even would have been amazing just so we can draw some extra stuff. but it's okay. It is what it is. Yeah. Okay. So chances are we are at a point where we will probably lose this game. They're going to get to draw a card right now, and it's just a land, so they get to play it. Ugh. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm just going to go ahead and concede, unfortunately. We are running up on time anyway, guys. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. All right, so mono black discard, albeit a very thrown together list, for sure. How do we feel about it? I like the tools that it has. Again, I think on the front end, you've got things like the Raven Man, you've got Lily, you've got some really powerful things from Dominaria United. And then you also have Graveyard Trespasser on the back end to be able to kind of capitalize on that. And then, of course, not to mention, you've got Invoke Despair that can draw you, excuse me, back into more things. So I think there's a lot to like here. I think there's also a lot that needs tweaking, personally. Again, I threw this together as a test run just to see what we can do, and I think we need to tweak it a bit, but I'm hoping we can revisit later in the season. I really did enjoy this one, guys. I hope you did. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you continue to enjoy all the gameplay content we are posting. We've got a lot of it coming for you guys, so thank you guys so much. I love you all. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you again very soon.